My name is John Smith, and my job role within Greater Anglia is the lead driver manager based at Colchester Depot. As a lead driver manager and all driver managers, one of the big things that we do is assess the competence of all of our trained drivers in our teams. That involves different types of assessments, from looking at the train data recorder to going out for physical in-cab rides and sort of brief check-ins with drivers, arranging simulator sessions. We need to assess drivers to ensure their competence is being maintained, and it's assurance for other bodies like the ORR who regulate all the rules and regulations within the railway industry, just to make sure that we're keeping everyone competent to those. During that time, they also get assessed by us at intervals, just to make sure everything's going in the right direction, and we're there to support and help. Every driver is on a continuous assessment cycle. Each cycle lasts 3 years. At the end of it, they have like a rules assessment as well to ensure that the rules knowledge hasn't faded. So one thing we do as well is delay attribution investigation. So every delay that happens on the railway has to be attributed somewhere so that we can learn from it and try and improve things going forward and see if there's any patterns of problems anywhere. So each morning, one of our first jobs will be to have a look at the system to see if we've been attributed any delays. And we try and get a driver's report. We look at the train data and any further information that we need to make sure we get the reasons why delays have occurred and can help prevent them in the future. We also manage all the sickness and welfare of all our drivers, which is really important because we want to maintain a healthy establishment of drivers. We build rosters and diagrams usually for timetable changes. We'd collaborate with the train planning department to ensure that all drivers' diagrams, which are pretty much like what the driver has to do for the day, so tells him what times trains he's working, where he's having his break. Make sure that all adheres to all the agreed timings and processes in terms of how long a driver can drive a train for without a break. Once we've got all the diagrams agreed with ourselves, train planning and the local union, we then build a roster based around that, so the drivers can know exactly what jobs they're doing each day. It's quite a lengthy process. We've got 34 different diagrams every day for drivers, nearly 100 drivers at Colchester. So we have to build a really robust roster that has to adhere to lots of other sort of processes and agreements as well. So once that's agreed, we can sign that off and put that into place ready for a roster change. So other things we do are we get involved with projects fairly often around the business with different things. Usually when something new is being implemented, we could be asked to involve in projects, and that could be including doing risk assessments, writing new safety systems work for that. The normal base it is where we are now at Colchester Depot in the driver manager's office. In terms of times, it's very difficult for us to be on proper sort of fixed shift patterns, because when we have to go and assess drivers, they obviously start quite early in the morning, finish quite late at night. So our times will often depend on what assessments we're doing. So we could be in work at 4 o'clock in the morning one day, and by the end of the week we're coming to work at 5 o'clock in the evening. That's really good because it gives a bit of variation to the job as well. One of the best things is, I think, seeing trainees through the whole process. It's really rewarding when you remember sort of doing a depot induction with a trainee on their first day, not really knowing anything and thinking that they're never going to get to know all of the knowledge they need to get, and then you help them, along with obviously all the team, all the driver instructors, the training academy, get through the really long and intense training course. And we get to issue them with a train driver certificate at the end of it to say that they're competent train drivers and can go out there to safely move our customers around. All driver managers have to have train driver competence. That's because we're assessing the competence of other train drivers. So generally, everyone has come through the driver grade at some point.
AWS and AWS operational.
So we have to do a minimum number of hours per week, and we have the same length of assessment schedule as what normal drivers do. Each driver manager has between 25 and 30 drivers in their team. So currently I'm enrolled and got the opportunity to do an apprenticeship called Level 4 Data Fellowship Apprenticeship. That's all about understanding more about data. So it's getting things from spreadsheets into things like Power BI, and SQL, understanding the code in SQL, and how to present different sort of charts and dashboards to understand data and help us improve. That's really useful and beneficial for the future. So the apprenticeship lasts a year. I started it in October last year, and the idea of apprenticeship is that you put your learning into practice almost straight away. So I've already used some of my learning to help us standardise some of our assessment processes to improve how we plan different types of assessments using historic data from previous assessments. So it's been really useful already. It's completely funded by Greater Anglia. Email come out sort of advertising the apprenticeships, and we got to complete a survey to see if it would be beneficial for your job role and your current skill set, and the data course was really suited to the things I wanted to learn, and Greater Anglia thankfully put me through that and have funded for that apprenticeship to go forward.